which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moment of prayer, please. Thank you.
Alderman Waddawah.
Here.
Alderwoman
Here.
Calderon.
Here.
Alderman Brickner.
Here.
Alderman Fire.
Here.
Alderman
Here.
Bliss.
Here.
Mayor Tutai.
Here. Telephonic meeting participation request? None.
The agenda has been properly posted and noticed, which might be easier for somebody else to say.
You say it better than me.
Then we have a public hearing. Notice is hereby given that the Common Council of the City of St. Francis will hold a public hearing in the council chambers, St. Francis Civic Center, 3400 East Howard Avenue, St. Francis, Wisconsin, on Tuesday, February 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. regarding the request for change of zoning from M1 Limited Industrial District to M1 Limited Industrial District Special Use for wholesale and distribution facility at 3775 South Packard Avenue. The legal description involved in the proposed zoning change is as follows. 3775 South Packard Avenue, tax key number 544-0032-001. A map of the property may be obtained from the Common Council through the Office of the City Engineer during regular business hours. Any interested person may be heard at the time of the public hearing.
Is there any person that would like to speak for this public hearing? Is there any person that would like to speak at this public hearing? Is there any person that would like to speak at this public hearing? Public hearing is closed. Presentation, none. Citizen comments, give me 30 seconds. 29, 28, 30, 40. Jean, can you please come to the front? State your name and address, please.
Name is Gene Kroll, 4037 South Barland Avenue, St. Francis. Hello, everybody. I would just like to thank Melinda and whoever helped her with all the research she did on Betts Avenue and for the Common Council for approving being able to pave Betts Avenue. It made a big difference this last snowstorm of not having rocks come into the blades and shooting out the thing like that. So thank you, everybody. It
Thank you.
actually was fun, if that can be.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That.
You do know citizen of the years cannot speak for 1 year.
I'm taking Gene's extra minute and a half.
We'll give you Richards. Please state your name and address, sir.
Rick, 4242 South Nicholson Avenue, St. Francis, Wisconsin, and Citizen of the Year 2022. Oh, that's okay. Well, seeing that I have not had the time to negotiate a longer time to speak with Ann, I only have one page tonight compared to the 6 pages I had for the Citizen of the Year event. And on behalf of Mary and myself, we'd like to thank the St. Francis Civic Association for the honor and humbling experience to become Citizens of the Year. We will try to do our best to keep up with the rich tradition of this award. I want to thank Tracy Johnsrud, President of the Civic Association, and the better half of our City Administrator, Mark, along with Debbie Fliss, Ann Eaker, and Rick Weir for all their hard work with the event. Thanks to Sean, who was my Toastmaster after my brother came down with COVID. You were filling in. Thank you very much. You did a great job. I want to thank all the council and staff that were there Saturday night. Steve, I'm sorry you couldn't have been there. I know you were planning on it. It was a great time and something that Mary and I will never forget. I hope you all enjoyed yourself as much as we did. I want you guys to know that all our family and friends that were there that night had nothing but positive things to say about the city, and they couldn't believe how nice the city is and that they had such a great event like this for their citizens. They just were amazed, and they came from all over, trust me. Again, I want to thank you for everything. It was a blast. Really enjoyed it and never forget it. Thank you.
Oh, you just made it.
That's only one page.
Is there any older person that would like anything removed from the consent agenda?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as listed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Recommendation of action from committees, commissions, and boards. Action to be taken from the licensing committee? None. Action to be taken from the finance committee? None. Action to be taken from the bargaining committee? None. Action to be taken from the Board of Public Works? None. Action to be taken from the Planning Commission? None. Resolutions and ordinances. Resolution naming Mary and Richard for the 2022 Citizen of the Year of the City of St. Francis, Wisconsin.
I'll move to introduce and adopt.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Does it really count because you didn't say the name of the resolution? Full name? You missed the Grabановich.
Yeah, it still counts. Yeah, Thursday, a little something not extra in your check. All right, where was I? Discussion items with possible action. MOU with the City of Milwaukee for paving South Brust Avenue. Mark or Melinda? Paul?
This is coming forth from the, from City Engineer, Department of Public Works with regard to work that was done on South Brust Avenue last year in cooperation with the City of Milwaukee. Small segment of the paving that was done by the city, which really consisted of a thin overlay of asphalt on the road to take care of some cracking issues, was placed in there, including the City of Milwaukee segment with the Milwaukee Engineering Department's approval. They've now come forth after the fact and indicated that they wanted MOU to document their payment obligations, which consist of $7,700. The document is certainly not what we would otherwise be looking for as far as an agreement with the City of Milwaukee, but given the de minimis amount involved, it's quite frankly not worth the additional effort to try to turn the rudder on the Titanic to get what we'd like out of them. So we're looking for approval for, I believe, Melinda to execute this on behalf of the city so that we can get our $7,700.
Also move.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Just a question, Paul. It says all phases of the subject project, including but not limited to construction. Does that language give you any pause that we'd be on the hook for more somehow?
Yeah. Well, it would if there were any other phases that were contemplated. Again, the language is certainly not what we'd otherwise be looking for, but again, it's the relative difficulties. They presented it to us after they'd already gotten approval from their Board of Public Works and their Common Council, so we would literally be having to go back and try to get them to agree that their language was not the best in the first place, which would just exacerbate the problem. So I don't think that we have any long-term obligations with regard to additional construction as a result of that language. So I wouldn't have done it that way, but I think we could hold our noses and approve it and move on.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
No.
Get that in? Oh. Go ahead, Don.
I'm real upset that once again, City of Milwaukee is pushing on a small community, because it's not worth the cost of taking the big brother to court for fulfilling their obligation. And with any other citizen in this community, we would be forcing them to commit to their obligation. And I don't think that we should be giving the City of Milwaukee a break just because of the City of Milwaukee, whether it's steering the Titanic or not. That was set up on purpose by the City of Milwaukee, which doesn't surprise me, by the way, that this city has been treated by the City of Milwaukee and the Milwaukee County before.
Just if I may clarify real quickly, just to be clear, they are paying their financial obligation. It's just the verbiage in the proposed memorandum that is less than stellar as to why they're paying it and how, they have a number of qualifications, but at the end of the day, it does call for them to pay their full amount. So I just want to make sure that that was clear, and if I didn't make that clear before, I apologize.
And I think if there's any fees involved with time being passed, if we're passed, they should also be paying fines on those fees also.
Got all that?
I think that was deliberate. I think it was deliberate, holding on to it until after everything was passed. That's not done by accident.
Is that it, Don?
That's it.
Thank you.
Step off my soapbox before I fall.
And it will not be workman's comp. Correspondence with possible action or referral, none. Unfinished business, none. Other business, none. Department heads, Melinda?
Thank you, Mayor. We survived the last snow. We're going to prepare for more snow, slush, sleet, rain, whatever is going to come over the next couple days. We still have plenty of salt, so no worries there. But we'll be ready and prepared to handle whatever comes forward. You may have noticed Ashblend was in the city this week working with our crews to take down some trees that were under the wires that we can't do. So we are continuing to partner with them for cooperation. They do that at no charge for us, so that's a benefit to us, and we just clean up after them. And then lastly, as you're aware, KK from Howard to Lenham is going to be resurfaced this year. The state had everybody, including all the utilities, We Energies, Midwest Fiber, Charter, AT&T, submit plans by July of 2022. None of those utilities responded in July of 22 that they had any work. The bids went out, they let the bids, we have a contractor, the project's ready to start in the beginning of April, and last week We Energies sent plans over saying we got to move all the poles. So it was quite a shock. We've been, and also that the city owes $3,400 to switch the streetlights from the old poles to the new poles. We're working with Mark and Ken to make sure that the charge is correct. We worked with the DOT, was very upset, but the work has to be done. We Energies has a policy that, an internal policy that if you are resurfacing a road or causing any road work to happen, they have an obligation to move their poles a minimum of 18 inches from the back of the curb. Most of the poles are only a foot, so that's what they're doing. I explain all this to you because, I'm putting together a press release for it. That work with the utility poles will start around February 20th. And then We Energies is going to start, there's 4 poles, 2 for Charter, 2 for AT&T that need to get moved, and they're going to do those first on the west side of the street. and then they're going to move to the east side of the street. No, I take it back. They're on the east side of the street, and then they're gonna move to the west side of the street and move a bunch of poles. So yeah, so they are going to be multiple utilities on that street. We do have a traffic control plan. Nobody will be working directly opposite each other, but it's going to be busy. So I just wanted to let everybody know ahead of time. And again, we'll put out a news flash on the city website. We'll put it out on Facebook, just so people are in the area are aware. There is a chance that I have a call into the state that 80% of that fee may come back to us as part of the construction project. So I just need to get that clarified. But I just wanted to give everybody a heads up. And with that, I pass.
Thank you. Chief?
Very brief. Continuing a lot with training this time of year. We have 2 students in aerial operator class, which is underway. We had the opportunity to send 2 of our paramedics to an advanced airway class. We were 2 students of about only 20 in the whole county that were able to go to this. So that was good. And with that, I pass.
Captain?
Thanks, Mayor. I couldn't help but notice that 2 out of the 3 citizens that are here tonight, Richard Adamczewski and Rick Gravanovic, were Citizens of the Year. So that's 67% of the audience tonight. So I don't know if there's pressure on you. I forgot your name, sir, but I mean, you might have to, Gene, you might have to step it up. So congrats, Rick, again. I wasn't there, but congratulations to you. So on a tragic note, I'm sure you all have heard, if you haven't already, but it was a rough night for law enforcement, rough morning. MPD lost an officer this morning at about 1:30 in the area of 14th and West Cleveland. It always hits home. I don't care if it's Milwaukee PD or Racine PD. If it's in southeastern Wisconsin, it hits home. And this one particularly hits home because the officer that lost his life was a good friend of one of our officers that was working last night. So it sucks, but we have no choice but to move forward. And I would just appreciate everybody's thoughts and prayers for the Milwaukee officer that lost his life. I would probably say that we average about 8 to 10 what we call critical incidents a year as part of that Milwaukee area investigation team. And what's tragic is that most times the good guy comes home. And this time the good guy didn't come home, and sucks. On a better note, Kayla Culberson, former MPD, is going to be our next hire, a female. We have a tentative start date for her of February 20th, so you'll see her face around here. We're very proud to hire our 4th female officer in the department's history. Today, our city's insurance company dropped off what's called a Milo machine. I'm sure Chief Hunter talked about it last year. It comes around once a year. It's basically a simulator that officers can use. We'll have it for about a month at no cost to our department. It's like a $50,000 machine for officers to kind of go over critical incidents, shoot, don't shoot type of things. So we have that. Just a reminder, if you didn't know, we're hosting training, I think at your fire department, this Thursday, so you might see extra cars in the parking lot. The Ford Explorer just sold our Ford Explorer for $13,300, I believe. And then last but not least, our Citizens Academy, we're accepting applications. So if you know anybody, please send them our way. And with that, I pass.
Thank you, Captain. Ann?
Just a gentle reminder that our next council meeting will be on Wednesday, February 22nd, because the 21st is the spring primary election. So we will be using this facility for a polling location. And that's it.
Thank you. Paul?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd join in extending condolences to Officer Jerving, his family, and the MPD on his tragic loss earlier this evening, I think this morning rather, and give my thanks to the men and women who serve as our first responders and keep us safe while we're sleeping. I'd also extend my congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Grabanovich on their well-deserved Citizen of the Year honor. And I'll otherwise reserve my comments for the closed session.
Thank you.
I pass.
Mark?
Thank you, Mayor. I'll reserve my comments as well for closed session.
Thanks. Matt?
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. I'd just like to extend my congratulations to Rick as well. Well-deserved. See you at every event, continually volunteering. You're here week in and week out. Sometimes I don't know why, but you are. And and it's well-deserved. Congratulations. And I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it, but I've heard that it was just an excellent event. So with that, I pass.
Thank you. Steve?
Just like to wish Rick, or say congratulations to you too, and your better half. Well,
Thank you. Don?
I'm just going to give my minutes to Rick Granovich.
No.
No.
With that, I pass.
Thank you, Don. Debbie?
I'll pass, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Sarah?
Same as everyone else, Rick, and to your lovely wife, Mary, congratulations. It was a great time, and I was happy to be part of the celebration and meet some of your family. You have a very nice family.
Thanks. Sean?
Congrats, as you know, to you and Mary. I want to take a moment to express gratitude to both of your teams for what you do for our community. In December, we had a firefighter not far from here injured in duty. Your loss last night. I only hope you feel the gratitude this community has for you. St. Francis is blessed with two amazing teams, and we hear about it from them. And I just appreciate everything you guys do. And with that, I'll pass.
Thank you, Sean. I also would like to tell Rick and Mary, well earned. It was a great event. I can't think of words more than well earned, but there is words better than that for what you and Mary do for the city, and I'm very, very grateful for it. And I'd like to keep the prayers of the Milwaukee Police Department and the fallen hero in our hearts and prayers, please. And with that,
Motion to convene into closed session.
Second?
It's to adjourn to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85 sub E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public property, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session. The item for discussion is the purchasing of property in TID 4. Alderman Wadawa.
aye.
Alderman Brickner.
Aye.
Alderman Damon.
Aye.
Calderon.
Aye.
Alderman Fire.
Aye.
And
Aye.